Time for the front yard tour, but before I do that, I have some updates on the backyard. So some things have bloomed since the video, and I just want to show them because they probably won't be in bloom by the time I take my next garden video. So this iris in the back here, it has bloomed and it is pink. So I'm going to move that where there's more sun in the front. And some columbine bloomed with so many blooms on it, and it was never this big, but now it's huge and that's awesome. Some iris bloomed here as well, and the chives bloomed. There's carnations in the back here. I think they would like more sun, but they're doing okay in the back, so I might actually just leave them here. I just need to move them forward. The anemone's doing well, and then this iris bloomed, and I said I couldn't describe the color. It kind of has pink purple falls, but these petals I just can't, I don't know what color that is. I don't know. So there's more of that here. And then I did plant up this little area with the columbine and the coleus and impatiens. And then I moved the bleeding heart because I'm gonna plant it somewhere else. So that's update for the backyard. This garden is sort of part of the front yard. It's kind of in the middle of the neighbors and our driveway. It's just a little patch that I decided to plant up. So this iris I bought last year, and it said that it would be blue, but it looks like it's going to be purple. And that's to be expected because usually irises don't come in blue, like true blue. But I planted this clematis this year, and it has grown a lot. I recently planted it too. So it grew a lot, and it has two blooms, like two different colors in the blooms. And then I have this little Weigelia I planted last year, and it is blooming. And then I have some annuals like snapdragons and petunias. And I also have some Armenia here, and it has some buds on it, so it's about to open. But I saved this one because it was frost heaved, and then I planted it, and it actually sprouted again. So yeah, this iris is kind of tilted because we had a windstorm, but it's gonna bloom. At least I can see the color. And that pipe you see there is actually from the water barrel. It is temporarily there because we're building a greenhouse and we had to move it. But yeah, the greenhouse will be good for planting. I shall have videos in my greenhouse soon when it's done. And then this unanimous shrub I had to move as well. So it's waiting for its new spot here in a pot. So this is the front garden, and before I talk about that area, this is like a circle garden also in the front, and I'm gonna go through the plants. I'm trying to plant all peonies here, and so I have 3. I need maybe a 4th, and I don't know if I'll be able to fit a 5th one. But the first one is this dark pink peony, and I planted this a few years ago, like 2 or 3, and it already has lots of buds and it's huge. And I have this peony. It's light pink, but I moved it so it probably won't bloom. And then I have this peony. This is kind of like a heritage peony because it was from my grandma's house, and we moved it every time we moved, and we still have it. So it has 2 buds, and I did move it, but it's doing okay. And then I have some annuals, petunias, but I'm not going to go through those. They're just petunias. But I have this moss phlox here, and it is starting to grow. It finished blooming. Just planted that. And then I have some alliums that I cut the stalks off. I'm going to dry the stalks and keep them. But the alliums finished blooming, and I might have to move them to the garden to make room for the peony. And then another annual here. Okay, and now for the front garden. Here we have this purple iris, and last year I had 1 bloom stalk, but this time it had many blooms on it, but I cut some of the stalks off because it's almost done. And I have this daylily. It's about to bloom. I have balloon flower and sweet woodruff. I put it in a pot so I could trail, but it took over the pot. And I also have this mini iris. It's like a early spring blooming reticulated iris in the back there. I have this dwarf Arctic iris that I need to plant. And then I have red carnation, pasque flower, grape hyacinths, cheddar pinks, and those are grape hyacinths that are light blue. They bloom very early. And I have these red lilies. They started to spread a little bit, and now those small bulbs are gonna bloom. So that's awesome. Then I have a hydrangea there, and it's not blooming, I don't think. It stopped blooming, so I might have to move it. But underneath it are hyacinths, and I need to move those as well because they're so crowded. And then right there are some tulips. They're red and white, and I'll have to move those as well because they're really short. So some daffodils in the back there. And then here is a Siberian iris that is almost in bloom if I waited like another day. And then some phlox there. I have a mini rose bush here. It's red and it has buds on it. And underneath the daylily are actually crocuses. And then some ice plant here. The blooms close when the sun leaves, but it's in the sunniest part of this garden. And then I have a cactus. It's hardy, and it came back. It also has a bud on it, so that should be interesting. And then a succulent, and like pinks. I think these are pinks, but they're actually red, and it's about to bloom. And more annuals I'm not going to go through, but there's moss rose and petunias, so I'm going to skip those. But here is purple aster, and I actually just divided it and replanted it. And then I have white coneflower, some yellow lupins, and those are mixed colored tulips like red, yellow, and pink. And then I have a red daylily and some species tulips, yellow and white. And then pink phlox right there. I have sedum here, and that is white phlox. And then I have some pink hardy mums, and this is Iceland poppy. I just wanted to see if I can grow it, but I just planted it. And then I have a pink rose bush, a mini one that I planted too. And this mini rose bush didn't do so well when it was coming back, so I think it might die, but it has one bud right there. And then I have lavender. I have sun drops, and they have buds on them. And then I have this Dutch iris, and it has 2 buds. Another daylily. Some orange tulips that are going dormant. And then I have this peacock gladiolus I'm going to try growing, but I don't think it's hardy. Some Shasta daisy. More phlox. And over here is another pasque flower. And then this is the neighbor's rose bushes. He has a big tall red rose bush, some tree peonies, and more rose bushes. And he had poppies here. And then we have a burning bush, another rose, some daffodils, and I did plant another lupin here as well, because I had a purple one but it died. It was really big. And then we have a delphinium I just planted as well. Those are mini red tulips. And then a hardy hibiscus. It's just coming out of the ground. More daffodils. And then I have a red hot poker. that I planted. Orange coneflower. Those are hyacinths. And then these are irises. I have a tree peony and a pink lupin. And then I have this rose bush here. It's coral. And then I have this other small coral rose bush that I have to plant. And then more daffodils there. And then this is a delphinium. It's light blue as well. I think it's the same color as this one. Then I have these irises that I need to give away because they're extras. And then I have green and yellow artemisia. And these morning glories reseeded that they're going to climb up, and they usually climb all the way to the top there. And then I have another iris here. And then I have some pots of annuals and some houseplants. And then these are just some mixed annuals as well. And then I have the alliums that I cut. I'm drying those. More pots of annuals. And also the sparrow is making a nest in the birdhouse, so that's cool. And then the hanging basket I have in the backyard, but it's was really dry, so we had to water it and bring it to the back. So that is all for the front yard, and I will do another video when there's other stuff blooming. And that's all for the front yard tour. So I'll be back with an update next month.